twists and turns ahead. Just as Zanina was about to close the door behind her, she noticed a horse-drawn carriage in the distance, approaching the house. Two men sat on the carriage, but their faces remained indistinct in the fading light. Turning back to Sarah and Eva, who still stood in the same spot, she informed them. "Someone's coming. It might be Jim and Joshua, but I can't tell for sure." Upon hearing this, all three women stepped outside to see who the visitors were and why they had come. As the carriage drew closer, the men's uniforms became visible. They were soldiers. Zanina braced herself, mentally preparing how she would explain everything to clear up the situation after first determining their intentions. Eva, however, recognized them. She had seen these two soldiers before, the night they escorted their father while intoxicated. What puzzled her now was the fact that they were still alive. Leaning towards Zanina, she whispered her thoughts, but her sister couldn't recall their faces. The men brought the horse-drawn carriage to a halt just beyond the house's fence. The soldiers dismounted, then vaulted over the fence, striding forward with firm, deliberate steps. The distance between them and the women quickly shortened until they were close enough for a handshake. "Good evening. We're searching for two fugitives, Derek and Erica. We understand that the latter is employed here as a housekeeper." One of the soldiers spoke first, his voice steady and authoritative. "Before we proceed, allow us to introduce ourselves. I am Soldier Lauren Robertson, and beside me stands Soldier Stuart Trosk. We need to know whom we are addressing, as what we have to discuss is classified." Eva, taking the initiative, stepped forward. "Mr. Robertson, I am Eva Jones, and this is my sister, Zanina Jones." Robertson's gaze shifted to the third woman standing beside them, waiting for her to introduce herself. Before she had the chance, Zanina took it upon herself to speak. "We have had the honor of being reunited with our mother after years of her absence. Mrs. Sarah Jones, I presume?" "Indeed." The girl's mother responded, as it was clear that Mr. Lauren was looking at her and waiting for her reply. "Yes, I remember you." Eva interrupted Mr. Lauren's moment of reminiscence to gain more time. "Mr. Robertson, now that introductions are out of the way, could you explain how it is possible that you are still alive?" "Pardon?" Mr. Lauren asked in surprise, but Zanina gently nudged her sister, realizing that Eva's question had been a bit too abrupt. Wanting to ease the tension from the start, she clarified. "Mr. Lauren, what my sister is trying to understand is this. We were at home when our father returned 2 days ago, and we saw you and Mr. Stewart accompanying him. Is that correct?" "Yes. Please continue, miss." "A short while later, you were asked to step outside. As you waited, a man appeared and aimed his gun at you before opening fire. That's why we were so frightened. We believed you had been killed ever since. That is one of the reasons we came to see you. But there is something even more urgent. Is there currently a threat from Derek or Erica, the two individuals being sought? Could they be inside the house at this very moment?" Zanina did not want to reveal Derek's death just yet, but she answered Mr. Lauren's question carefully so as not to alarm him. "Derek fell gravely ill, and Erica has been missing for hours. They vanished together with her son Joshua before we had the chance to stop them." Before Zanina could continue, Eva interrupted her. "Have you heard from our father?" Mr. Lauren avoided giving Eva a direct answer, and instead continued. "The most important thing is that your life is not in immediate danger. Could we go inside the house to talk more comfortably?" Zanina knew it was impossible to let them inside. If they saw Derek dead, they would demand explanations in the worst possible way. So she thought it best to explain right then and there. "Mr. Robertson, Mr. Trosk, before we go inside, I need to confide something in you. Please do not interrupt me." The two men gave her their full attention and consent. So with difficulty, she continued. "My father was kidnapped by two unknown men. One is called Joshua, the other Jim, though I suspect those are not their real names." Mr. Lauren smirked slightly when he heard Jim's name, but Zanina did not pause her narration. "In total, there are 4 wanted criminals. Jim and Joshua were the ones who threatened and abducted our father, while Erica, the housekeeper we had trusted for so many years, and Derek held us hostage. That was until Joshua appeared and ordered Erica to leave. Before we could stop them, as I said earlier, they vanished. I'll take it from here. Eva stepped forward. Even though Derek fell gravely ill, we didn't have the courage to tell anyone because we were afraid of the consequences. The worst thing that could happen was for them to kill our beloved father. That's why we decided to wait a little longer, until Derek. Eva suddenly stopped. She hesitated. She wasn't sure if she should reveal Derek's death so soon. She glanced at her sister, searching for an answer. The soldiers, upon hearing the girl's story, did not seem surprised. On the contrary, they appeared familiar with the events, as if they had heard them before. Everything I told you is true, but you don't seem surprised. Eva observed them closely, scrutinizing their expressions and movements, until finally, Mr. Stewart spoke. "We believe you, miss, because we have seen these events unfold with our own eyes. The only thing we didn't know was Erica's escape. But let's focus on the present. In turn, I'd like to share something with you. Jim, Mr. Lauren, and I were assigned a mission by the British Army to protect your father. He was offered a pardon for his past crimes, in exchange for turning in his dangerous associates. However, there was one condition: had to resign from his position as a general in the British Army." "A small consequence? You call that small?" Eva shouted, furious. "The army is everything to our father." Sarah quickly tried to calm her down, while Zanina gave Mr. Stewart a nod, encouraging him to continue. "Let's be realistic, miss. This is the most lenient punishment he could have received," he sighed. "Mr. Lauren will take over from here. The atmosphere is already heavy enough for me." Mr. Stewart wiped his forehead and glanced at Mr. Lauren, urging him to continue. Mr. Lauren gave a slight nod and proceeded. "We monitored your father's every move, but we didn't have enough evidence to arrest Derek, Joshua, and Erica. 3 very dangerous individuals. The only way forward was for Jim to infiltrate their group and gain their trust, which he did effortlessly. He blended in quickly, and they accepted him because your father introduced him as one of the most despised deserters and enemy of the island's laws. Our objective was to bring them together and provoke them into committing an obvious crime. This could only be achieved if Jim fabricated a story that Hawk possessed immense wealth and vast land. He led Joshua and Derek to believe that kidnapping Hawk would grant them access to his fortune. From that point, it was only a matter of time before Jim could take down the criminals. Zanina couldn't ignore the fact that her family had been treated like mere pawns in a grand scheme. The thought of being used so callously, without any regard for their emotions, was unbearable. But for now, she needed these men. She turned to Mr. Lauren. "Mr. Lauren, we need to know what happened to our father." Mr. Lauren hesitated. "Miss, there is a slight problem. Your father led them to a secluded location, but he revealed too soon to Joshua that it was all over. Jim would arrest him within seconds. It was a poorly timed move, and not a wise one at all. Jim denied everything, and we chose not to reveal ourselves, fearing that if Joshua lost control, he might kill them both." Unfortunately, Joshua was unfazed. He pointed his gun at Hawk, grabbed his arm forcefully, and warned Jim not to follow as they made their escape. We had no choice, but to stay still. A priority was ensuring your father's safety. After the unfortunate incident, before returning to the army barracks to report and call for reinforcements, Jim ordered us to proceed to your house immediately to arrest Erica and Derek. But misfortune followed us. We lost our way, as your home is in a rather remote location. Sadly, we arrived too late. We humbly apologize for not being there in time, but you still haven't told us what happened to Derek." Sarah, Zanina, and Eva exchanged bewildered glances at Mr. Lauren's sudden question. Realizing he was waiting for an urgent response, Zanina finally revealed the truth. "Derek is dead. He fell gravely ill and passed away not long ago." She said nothing more, lowering her head. Without showing any emotion, she braced herself for the worst reaction from the 2 men. Mr. Trosk looked startled by her words. and shouted, visibly irritated. "You've had a dead man in your house for this long and didn't think to tell us until now? Miss Sarah, I beg you go inside, wrap the body in a sheet and open all the windows. The house must reek by now." As he spoke, he pulled a handkerchief from his pocket and wiped his mouth. Sarah obeyed, heading into the house to tend to the body, while Mr. Lorin added, "We'll have to take the body to the barracks for a proper burial." "I'm coming with you. Do not try to stop me." Zanina's voice rang with determination. "Miss, I don't understand why you insist on coming with us. We've told you everything we know as eyewitnesses, and I assure you no one else can help you more than Jim can. The only thing you can do now is trust him and wait for his news." Mr. Lorin's words didn't sit well with Zanina, and she protested. "Wait again? Waiting has stolen years from our lives. And do you know the worst part, Mr. Lorin? We don't even know who to blame, your father, Erica, or the British Army. The truth is, all of you share some responsibility, and now you're trying to drag us into your web of lies." She took a deep breath and continued in a calmer tone. "Look, all I want is to go with you." In Mr. Lorin's mind, Zanina now seemed like nothing more than a spoiled and insolent young lady. Dismissing her request, he turned away. Miss Trosk, visibly annoyed, seized the moment to voice his own thoughts. "Derek was one of the most notorious criminals, and you're concerned about his burial? That strikes me as rather odd. Just so you know, we're not burying him ourselves. We're turning him over to the army for one simple reason: they'll reward us with 4 gold sovereigns."